What if I told you that nothing around you is truly solid? Not the walls, not your body, not even your thoughts. That everything is energy, vibrating, shifting, responding to your attention in real time. Sounds mystical, maybe even unbelievable. But what if the biggest lie we were ever told was that we're powerless, that reality is fixed, that the world out there controls what happens in here? You see, the deeper you look, the more you realize life isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. Your thoughts shape energy, your emotions create resonance, and your focus literally carves reality into form. Yet most people are stuck on autopilot, repeating unconscious patterns and wondering why nothing changes. They've never been taught the truth. You are energy, and you can learn to control it. This video is not about theory. It's a portal, a journey, a guide to help you understand, feel, and harness the hidden power that has always been within you. From the quantum field to your everyday choices, you'll discover how to awaken your energy, reprogram your mind, and finally reclaim your power without any fluff and without the spiritual cliches. So I ask you, what if your thoughts were never really yours? What if everything you've ever believed about reality was backwards? Imagine for a moment that nothing in your world is truly solid. Not the chair beneath you, not your hands, not even your thoughts. Everything, at its most fundamental level, is vibrating. What appears as matter is simply energy condensed into form, humming at different frequencies, from the rustling wind to your beating heart, to the very words you're hearing now. All of it is energy in motion. This isn't just poetic spirituality, it's science. And yet, most people walk through life unaware that they're immersed in a vast ocean of energy. But here's the catch. Even though this energy is limitless, most of us can't feel it. Why? Because it's blocked. Not by the world, but by unconscious patterns in our own minds. Thoughts filled with fear, doubt, and distraction act like static, clouding our ability to receive and direct this energy consciously. Just like a radio that's slightly off tune, we're picking up noise instead of clarity. The result? We feel disconnected, tired, uninspired, like life is happening to us rather than flowing through us. The truth is, once you understand that everything is energy, you realize you're not a passive observer. You're a transmitter, a receiver, a co-creator. You're constantly interacting with the quantum field, whether you know it or not. Every emotion you feel, every thought you repeat, is a frequency you're broadcasting into this intelligent universe. What comes back isn't random, it's resonant. That's the secret few are willing to explore. To begin shifting this, you don't need to climb a mountain or recite mantras for hours. You simply need awareness. Begin by noticing the energy of your surroundings, how certain places make you feel heavier and others lighter. How your body reacts to people, to colors, to sounds. That's your energetic compass reawakening. When you pay attention to vibration, you start to reclaim the control you've always had, but were never taught to use. And here's the mystical beauty. Once you start aligning with this field consciously, life stops feeling like a struggle. You'll experience synchronicities, inner peace, and creative flow like never before. But this is only the beginning. Because the way we focus our minds shapes not just how we feel, but the very fabric of the reality we experience next. Your mind isn't a passive lens. It's more like a projector. From the moment you wake up, it filters trillions of bits of data, selecting only what matches your beliefs and expectations. It's not showing you the world as it is. It's showing you the world as you are. This is why two people can witness the same event and walk away with completely different experiences. Their minds were tuned to different frequencies, shaped by their inner programming. And most of that programming, it runs silently in the background. Think about this. When you constantly expect people to hurt you, your mind scans for signs of betrayal. When you believe money is scarce, you overlook opportunities that contradict that belief. But what if those were never absolute truths, just deeply rehearsed patterns? Once you become aware that your focus is creating your reality, you begin to reclaim your power. This is the definitive guide to controlling your energy, not by force, but by attention. Now, here's the key. Whatever you focus on expands. Energy follows attention. If you keep feeding thoughts of lack, fear, or failure, you energize them. If instead, you focus on possibility, on peace, on love, even just for a few minutes a day, you begin to retune your inner frequency. It's like changing the station on your personal broadcast tower, and the world begins to echo that back to you. Try this as a simple practice. When you feel stuck, don't try to fix the situation immediately. First, ask yourself, where is my attention right now? What am I energizing? Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and redirect your focus. Imagine what you do want, not what you fear. This mental reorientation shifts your field instantly. The more you practice this, the more you become the sculptor of your life, not its victim. And just like muscles grow through repetition, so does your mind. The next step is to learn how to rewire those mental highways that keep pulling you back to the old, and unlock new energetic pathways that transform everything. Think of your brain like a vast network of trails in a forest. The more often you walk a certain path, the clearer and faster it becomes. These trails are neural pathways, mental patterns formed by repetition. Every time you react in anger, fear, or self-doubt, you're strengthening that path. But here's the breakthrough. The brain isn't fixed. It's designed to change. This ability is called neuroplasticity, and it's your hidden tool to control your energy from the inside out. When you begin to consciously repeat new thoughts, emotions, and actions, you literally carve new trails in the mind. It's like opening the floodgates of an energetic river that had been dammed for years. Suddenly, fresh energy flows to areas that were once dry and lifeless. This isn't just psychology, it's deep spiritual transformation. Each new pathway becomes a channel for higher frequencies, for peace, clarity, and creativity to enter your life. Here's how you begin. Choose one disempowering belief you've rehearsed for years. Maybe it's, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed." Each time it arises, pause, breathe. Replace it with a higher truth. Something like, "I'm expanding into my power," or "abundance flows through me." Say it aloud, write it down, visualize it. Repeat this daily like a sacred ritual. With time, this new thought becomes a new energetic reality, and the old belief starts to lose its grip. You can also support this process physically. Simple things like movement, exposure to sunlight, or listening to certain frequencies help the brain encode these new patterns more quickly. Combine that with mindfulness and intention, and you accelerate the rewiring process. It's like giving your inner operating system a long overdue upgrade, one that tunes you into the flow of life rather than its resistance. And when these new circuits begin to light up, something magical happens. The veil begins to lift. You realize you were never truly seeing reality, only the program. And this realization leads you into the next dimension of energy, the invisible matrix that's been shaping your life all along. Before we move on, I want to ask you something from the heart. Have you ever felt energy? Not just understood it, but truly sensed it shifting around you? Maybe in a moment of deep peace, or when you walked into a room and felt something was off. Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've connected with energy in your own life, even if it was subtle, because when we share, we amplify, and your story might be the spark that awakens someone else. Behind everything you think is real lies a hidden architecture, a matrix of beliefs, fears, cultural norms, and past experiences. It's like wearing tinted glasses without realizing it. From the moment you're born, this matrix starts forming. You're told what's possible, what's dangerous, who you are, and what you can't be. But who told you those things? And were they free from their own programming? Most likely not. What you call reality might just be inherited limitation. The spiritual path begins when you question the matrix. When you notice that the same situations keep repeating, the same arguments, disappointments, patterns of lack, and finally ask, what if this is a loop? Loops are energy circuits. They're fueled by the beliefs you've accepted as truth. And just like a program in a computer, they keep running until you decide to uninstall them. That's where awareness becomes your key to freedom. One powerful way to dissolve these loops is to pause during moments of emotional intensity and ask, is this reaction really mine, or is it a program? That one question breaks the automatic chain. It creates space, and in that space, you access pure consciousness. You step out of the matrix and into the observer role. From here, you can begin to choose your responses instead of being driven by unconscious scripts. This is where true control over your energy begins. This isn't about escaping the world or living in denial. It's about piercing through the illusion to reclaim your creative power. When you realize your perception was shaped for you by schools, religion, family, trauma, you finally see the architecture of the cage, and the moment you see it, you stop being a prisoner. That's when you begin to glimpse the true mechanics of reality, and how your observation doesn't just interpret the world, it actually alters it. In the world of quantum physics, reality doesn't behave the way we expect. Particles don't have fixed positions. Instead, they exist in a cloud of probabilities, waves of potential waiting to take form. But here's the mind-bending part. The moment you observe a particle, it chooses a position. Observation collapses the wave. Awareness turns possibility into matter. In essence, the universe is waiting for your focus to decide what becomes real. This means your consciousness isn't just passive, it's creative. You are the observer. Your attention is the sculptor. The more aware you are of this truth, the more intentional your energy becomes. You stop reacting to life as if it's solid and fixed, and start dancing with it as a fluid field of potential. This is one of the deepest secrets hidden behind the phrase, everything is energy. You're not just in the field, you're co-creating it. Now, think of your everyday thoughts as quantum observations. When you dwell on fear, your reality collapses into more fear. When you focus on peace, you begin to notice peaceful moments everywhere. It's not just the law of attraction, it's quantum alignment. Every moment you spend consciously directing your attention is like tuning an instrument, shaping the energetic music of your life. To test this, try an experiment. For one day, focus only on gratitude. Not just words, but feeling it in your body. Watch how the world responds. People will treat you differently. Ideas will flow. Synchronicities will appear. Why? Because your observer effect is activating higher frequencies. You're no longer just witnessing life. You're molding it with your intention. And as this becomes your way of being, you start to feel less separate and more connected, which leads to the next awakening. The idea that we are separate, you over there, me over here, is perhaps the greatest illusion of all. Beneath our names, our stories, and our skin lies the same essence, energy. Not just any energy, but a unified field, infinite in intelligence and love. You're not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. And once you realize this, something inside you softens. Fear fades. Control becomes surrender. You stop trying to manipulate energy and instead begin to tune into it. This field isn't theoretical, it's experiential. You felt it when you walked into a room and sensed tension without a word being spoken, or when you thought of someone and they called seconds later. These aren't coincidences. They're glimpses of a deeper connection. You're constantly receiving and transmitting signals. The question is, are you aware of what you're broadcasting? And more importantly, are you aligned with the frequency of your soul? To align with the field, slow down, get quiet, spend time in nature, in meditation, or in creative flow. These are portals to the unified field. As you enter stillness, you become more receptive. You begin to notice subtle nudges, an idea, a knowing, a pull towards something meaningful. This is the field responding to your alignment. The more you honor those nudges, the stronger the connection becomes. This is how you begin to control your energy, by harmonizing with something greater than yourself. From this space of unity, judgment fades. Competition dissolves. You no longer feel the need to prove anything because you remember who you truly are. A spark of the infinite, a current in the divine ocean. And when you live from this space, the universe doesn't just reflect your desires, it mirrors your essence. But to really see that reflection, you have to understand the mirror you've been projecting onto the world all along. Imagine the universe as a giant mirror, not made of glass, but of energy. Whatever you project, it reflects. When you send out confusion, the world looks chaotic. When you radiate certainty, clarity finds its way to you. This is the essence of the quantum mirror. Reality is not responding to what you want, but to what you are. Your inner state is always echoed in the external world, like a cosmic dance between your soul and the field around you. This is why people who constantly fear betrayal often find themselves betrayed. It's not punishment, it's reflection. The energy of doubt, fear, or lack bounces back as experiences that match it. But here's the secret. You can change the reflection by changing the projection. That's where your intention becomes your greatest tool. Intention is more than a goal. It's a vibrational command that reshapes the energetic blueprint of your life. Start playing with this idea. When you wake up, don't just go through the motions. Set an intention, not just mentally, but emotionally. Feel it in your body. Today I radiate peace. Today I receive unexpected blessings. Then move through your day aligned with that energy. It might feel subtle at first, but over time you'll start to notice how reality bends toward your inner frequency. That's the control you never knew you had, and yet most people sabotage this process. Why? Because they keep replaying mental movies that contradict their intentions. They imagine failure while wishing for success. They visualize conflict while asking for harmony. But your mind is always listening, always creating, which leads us into one of the most misunderstood secrets of energy mastery: the power of imagination. Your brain can't tell the difference between what's vividly imagined and what's physically experienced. That's why a nightmare can make your heart race, even though nothing is really happening. This is one of the most powerful truths hidden in plain sight. The images you repeatedly play in your mind are not harmless. They're blueprints. Every scene you rehearse, whether of failure or triumph, is shaping your emotions, actions, and energy field. Most people unknowingly run disempowering films all day long. They visualize rejection before making a request. They rehearse arguments before they happen. They imagine the worst and call it being realistic. But every time they do this, their nervous system responds. Their energy contracts and their frequency drops. This is why controlling your energy requires more than positive thinking. It requires conscious imagery. You can begin to shift this by using intentional visualization. Take 5 minutes a day to close your eyes and imagine your desired life in rich detail. Feel it as if it's happening now. The sounds, the emotions, the environment. This isn't fantasy. It's energy alignment. The more you repeat this practice, the more familiar it becomes to your body and brain. And soon, your actions, decisions, and opportunities begin to align with that inner movie. This isn't magic, it's neurological. The brain uses imagination to rehearse what's possible, and energy follows those rehearsals. So be mindful of the scenes you're playing. Are they rooted in fear or love, lack or abundance? Every time you visualize with intention, you become a conscious director of your life. And as you become more aware of your inner movies, something deeper begins to emerge, a stillness beneath the stories, a witness that remains untouched. Beneath the endless stream of thoughts and emotions, there's something far more constant, awareness itself. It doesn't speak, it doesn't judge, it simply witnesses. This pure consciousness is who you are before the stories, before the fears, before the need to prove or fix anything. Most people go through life believing they are their thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. You are the presence that sees them come and go. When you identify with every mental impulse, your energy gets pulled in 1,000 directions. One moment you're hopeful, the next you're anxious, then angry, then tired. But when you drop into awareness, just observing without attaching, everything changes. You enter a space of deep stillness. This is where true control of your energy begins, not by manipulating the mind, but by transcending it. You can practice this by simply sitting in silence for 5 minutes a day. Watch your thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky. Don't push them away. Just notice them. When emotions arise, feel them without labeling. Over time, this creates spaciousness inside you. The noise loses its grip, and in that stillness, your natural state, peace, clarity, and presence begins to surface. This is your core frequency. Living from this state doesn't mean ignoring the world. It means engaging with it from your center, not your chaos. You respond rather than react. You begin to sense when energy is aligned and when it's not. You become a lighthouse instead of a flickering candle. And from this grounded space of being, a powerful question begins to emerge. What if the entire world you experience is a mirror of your own awakening? There comes a moment on every spiritual journey when the question shifts from, why is this happening to me, to what is this showing me about my own energy? That's the moment of awakening. It's the instant you realize that the world isn't fixed, it's fluid. That reality is not something you endure, but something you shape. And that every fear, limitation, and obstacle is really an invitation to reclaim your forgotten power. This awakening isn't loud or dramatic, it's subtle. It's when you begin to see patterns in your life and ask, what part of me is creating this? It's when you catch yourself before reacting, when you speak a new truth instead of an old defense. It's when you remember that everything is energy, including your thoughts, your voice, your presence, and that by shifting your frequency, you change the frequency of your world. The most powerful part. You don't need to wait for a crisis or a breakdown to awaken. You can choose it now, right here, not by knowing more, but by becoming more aware, by breathing slower, by walking lighter, by speaking with intention. Each small act becomes a declaration. I am the author of my experience. And as you live from this truth, reality begins to respond in ways you never thought possible. So ask yourself, what have you been accepting as unchangeable? What part of your story is waiting to be rewritten with conscious energy? The moment you question your reality is the moment you begin to transcend it. Because when you reclaim your energy, your awareness, your intention, you're not just waking up, you're becoming the creator you were born to be. Now that you've seen the deeper truth, that everything is energy, and that your mind, your emotions, and your intentions shape the world around you, the real journey begins. Because wisdom without practice is just noise. But when you take even one of these insights and live it, everything starts to change. The way you walk into a room, the way you speak to yourself, the way you respond to chaos with presence instead of panic. So start small. Set an intention before your day begins. Observe your thoughts without getting caught in them. Visualize the life you want, not as a wish, but as a frequency you're tuning into. Question what you've been told. Unplug from the loop. And most of all, remember, you were never meant to survive life on autopilot. You were born to create, consciously, vibrationally, powerfully. And if this message resonated with you, don't let it end here. Reflect on it, apply it, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Now I'll leave you with a question that only your inner self can answer. Are you living as energy or as illusion? If you felt a shift, even a small one, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications. Not because the algorithm says so, but because we're building something deeper here. A space for awakening, for mastery, for truth. Welcome to the journey.